Do you ever see a successful woman on your feed or in a magazine and think, wow, it must be nice to have it so easy? Well, think again. Behind that glossy cover or smiling face is a ton of hard work, countless failures, and endless learning experiences. I'm Rebecca Minkoff, and I'm here to tell you that success isn't a walk in the park. It takes grit, resilience, and a willingness to take risks. That's why I created SUPERWOMEN, a podcast that peels back the varnish and gets into the nitty-gritty of what it takes to make it as a woman in today's world. From luminaries and game changers to women you've never heard of but should, this podcast is here to inspire you to take your next leap, no matter how daunting it may seem. We'll explore the sacrifices these women have made, the highs and lows they've experienced, and the lessons they've learned along the way. So if you're ready to be inspired and learn from some of the most successful women out there, join me on SUPERWOMEN. Together, we'll uncover the stories behind the successes and prove that with hard work, determination, and a little bit of luck, anything is possible. Hey everyone, you're listening to SUPERWOMEN. If you saw Taylor Swift sporting the most incredible glitter freckles, well, guess what? My guest today is the co-founder of Fazit, Aliett Buttelman. She launched this not even a decade ago, less than 3 years ago, and not an overnight success by any stretch of the imagination because she's worked her ass off with her co-founder, Nina, to get here. We're going to break down the strategy, how she approaches work, how she approaches innovation, and what are some of the things you need to know to be flexible, persistent, and effective in business. Take a listen. Welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So someone sent me this. They said my sister's friend's daughter's something. And then I watched you on Instagram and I was like, holy shit. And I think it was right before Taylor Swift.
Before you were there before the catalyst.
I was there before. And I identify with that moment because I had my own, like, let's go back 20 years. I had my Lindsay Lohan moment. And what that did for my brand at the time, because I was the height, was wild. So I was like, yay, I know what's about to happen. So tell me about Fazit. What inspired you and your co-founder to start this? And what were you doing before?
Yeah. So my co-founder, Nina LaBruna, and I started Fazit about 2.5 years ago. We wanted to revolutionize the way we were applying first skincare using skincare patches, and saw there was an opportunity to do that same type of application format with cosmetics. So we launched the first makeup patches last April, so April of 2024. And before that, Nina, my co-founder, was making, I call it potions in her NYU dorm room. She loved clean skincare and was hosting Reiki in her room. And I thought I knew best out of college and started a consulting company. I had worked as a fashion model prior to college and thought I knew better and was going to give brands this advice of how to succeed. Nina was my first client and went into her dorm room. We rebranded her skincare company and we started that together about 8 years ago. And then during COVID, we decided to start a venture 50-50 together and started Fazit.
So the skincare company before was patch on skincare? Like, what does that mean?
No. So Fazit first started with skincare patches.
Okay.
We did hydrocolloid patches for acne, for ingrown hairs. We launched the first acne silicone scar patch that helped fade, raise acne scars.
Okay.
But Nina's company beforehand was called LaBruna Skincare.
Okay.
Her dad is a plastic surgeon in New York. Her mom is a cosmetic dentist. And she'd really been fascinated with chemistry and botanical ingredients. And she was making a clean, organic skincare company.
So what gave you this idea to launch the most incredible golden glittery freckles?
Credit is all to Nina. Okay. She came to me and said, I have this crazy idea to take this, paper backing, but apply makeup through the paper backing. Just applying water and you peel it off. And she's like, I'm so bad at makeup, but I want to do these really intricate, bold designs on my face. I was like, Nina, I don't get it. I don't know how we go from skincare patches talking about like bikini bumps and scars into full glam. Yeah. She's like, all right, well, I'm just going to make a few production samples and let me know what you think. So she gets a few, wears them around LA. People are stopping her on the street and are like, what is on your face? Like, I need to have that. And she kept telling me, it's like, I guess, Nina, like, send me a few. So she sends me a few. I make like a hypey restaurant reservation, bring all of my friends. And they're like, we have the best table for you. And I was like, oh, like, thanks. Like, I don't know what I did to deserve this. And at the end of the dinner, they're like, we just want to tell you we're so obsessed with your makeup. So we gave you like the VIP table in the back. So I called Nina. I was just like, okay, you're right. Like you're onto something and we have to launch this product.
And what was it? What was that? Was it this?
This was the original glitter freckles.
Okay.
And we decided to launch Coachella weekend 2. We had a few samples. Inventory hadn't hit warehouse yet. I was like, oh my God, this was supposed to be our incredible launch strategy. We're late. Sent it to a few friends and influencers. They posted about it. Their videos went viral. They had 10 millions of views on Instagram Reels, which I think is a lot for Instagram. And we sold out of 100,000 units before product even hit our warehouse.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so we kind of knew then.
So did you know when you ordered, how many units did you order? 100,000?
We ordered 100,000.
And how did you know that that was the right number? And was that scary? Because that seems like a very big number to me.
Yeah, we have experience with inventory. From my experience, you never overorder if you don't have to. That's my advice to all founders. But we had seen with our Amazon business, retailers that were interested in us, we knew that we could sell through that capacity, or at least, we'd have inventory for at least a year.
Right.
We then ended up having to reorder immediately. But no, we were confident that this was going to sell through one of our sales channels.
So when that happened, did you immediately go, okay, we're done with the butt pimple patch and the ingrown, like, were you just like, okay, now we're hitching our wagon to this star? Or
totally.
Yeah.
I mean, for us, we had worked through a few different companies. For me, it was my consulting business, then Nina's first skincare company. And we had learned early on, if it's not working, let it go. Like, don't keep reinvesting your time, your money, efforts into something that maybe is not finding traction. You can have a great product that's solving a problem, which our products did, but it wasn't product market fit with a customer base.
Yeah.
And once we found that with the makeup patches, we're like, this is our focus point. Obviously, we saw like a tick of sales with the other products as well with the virality of this. But no, this has become total passion and there's so much excitement and people love it. So we're going to keep developing and innovating in this field.
Well, that's what I was excited to see, is that you didn't just rest on your laurels and just do this. And I saw you launch like more versions of this and other iterations. And I was like, thank God they're just not like holding on to the glitter.
No, my husband's uncle, who is a very successful CEO, he called me immediately after the Taylor Swift moment. He goes, okay, cool, what's next?
Yep.
And he downplayed all of it. I was like, yeah, but did you see, like, I've been on TV and all this stuff is happening for us. He's like, I don't care. He's like, what is happening next? He's like, someone's going to dupe you. They're going to be copycats immediately. You need to be focused on what is the next innovation or you will die.
Yep.
And we've used that to feel where we see Phase in the next 5 to 10 years.
So I know you've talked about it 100 times, but for my listeners, let's just talk about the Taylor Swift. How did it get to her?
Mm-hmm.
When did you find out? And then tell me what happened with the business.
So we launched the makeup products back in April of 2024. Taylor was on the European leg of the Eras tour. And I kept saying to Nina, this needs to be on her. I mean, it's not just like celebrity endorsement, but her outfits, the Eras tour, like these girls need to be wearing this product. And I made a TikTok on my own personal channel that had 30 followers and was like, this is my mission. Like, let's manifest getting this on Taylor. And I remember that afternoon, I was like looking up who Taylor Swift's makeup artist was. She only worked with one. Her name's Lori Turk, based in Nashville. She has an agency. Reached out to the agency. They gave me her mailing address, which I was kind of shocked by. So we just sent her product back in May. And then months went by. We had a few viral moments. And I said, that's not it. We just can't send to one person to reach her. It will it goes into someone's storage closet. I'm sure you receive a bunch of products.
Yep.
And maybe you don't see all of them. So I sent to Sabrina Carpenter's team, who was opening for her on the Eras tour, hoping maybe there's some FOMO there. And then I sent to all the wives and girlfriends of the chief if they're wearing red glitter freckles, and maybe Taylor's like, oh my God, like I want to support the team too. I want to wear these in the VIP box as well and be a part, of the WAGs. And I don't know which part of that strategy ended up working, but on October 7th, Taylor Swift walked into Arrowhead Stadium wearing this very chic plaid Vivienne Westwood outfit and our glitter freckles. A content creator had messaged the Fazit Beauty account and said, I think Taylor's wearing your product.
Oh my gosh.
I was just getting home from a workout. I opened Instagram and I just swear I blacked out. I was like, what? Like, no. Like, what? No.
Oh my
and
God.
my husband had the game on And I see it. And then I go on my Instagram Explore page and Dave Portnoy, Chicks in the Office, Page Six, New York Post, all has a zoomed in picture of Taylor's face saying like Taylor's wearing glitter freckles. And I was like, no. It's like I started to cry. My husband's filming me crying, which I don't know why, but I think subconsciously he knew this was the catalyst. Yeah. And this, was just such a moment for my career and for the brand. I posted that TikTok in the moment. He's like, you're crazy. You look insane. You're crying. You're red. You're puffy. You're in the dark. Your hair's in a top knot and your mismatched workout outfit.
That's the fucking founder.
Yeah. And I post that crying and I have text over it when Taylor Swift wears your brand. It got, I think, 14 million views. And that's how customers started identifying that what she was wearing was Fazit Beauty. And that night, I was up all night with anyone I could recruit to contact journalists, telling them to tag Fazit. It was our product on her.
Wow.
And then I swear the next 3 weeks I didn't sleep. And it was a wild roller coaster.
It was amazing to watch. I know how exhausting. I don't know how exhausting that is. That was much more exhausting. But I know from that high, and then you're riding the sales and the orders. And so how did you not disappoint the customer, but you weren't necessarily ready?
Luck and strategy. Luck was we had a massive order coming in that same night. So I got to fulfill all of these orders. Wow. Nina was on the phone with our manufacturer saying, double your team. She called our warehouse, double your team, all hands on deck. We did not sell out at any point.
Wow.
Which selling out is clickbait, for most marketers. But for us, it was a badge of honor of I could fulfill. The Eras tour was starting 2 weeks from where she wore the product in North America. So I needed enough product for her to tour in New Orleans, Miami, Illinois, then go to Canada. Then we had Halloween, and then we had into holiday.
Wow.
So Nina did a great job managing supply chain. And yeah, that's kind of how we handled it. But you're right, there was such an emotional high that I think finally I'm getting off of. And you kind of reached a little bit of a low point of like, wow, that was a wild 6 months of my life of this doesn't happen to anybody.
Right.
And I'm sure you can relate to Lindsay Lohan of it's this moment of we created it for ourselves, but it's also luck and our lives have changed. Our business has changed. We scaled our company. We've grown our team.
Yeah.
We're on TV. I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
It's been wild.
Oh, it's so fun. It's so fun to watch when that happens because you know how much hard work and you just broke it down, the strategy around getting it to her. And then when it happens, you're like, yes.
Yeah.
So how did you afford to scale? Because when we had our scaling moments, we didn't have the money. And so it was this oh my God, the best thing that's happening to us, but we don't have the funds to do it.
Yeah. I'm super transparent about this conversation because when I was building Fazit in the early days and looking to fundraise, I felt like no one was actually telling you how they got to where they're at. We thought we were building Fazit by raising a bunch of VC, venture capital. Nobody was giving us money. We probably had 100 conversations with people and it's chicken before the egg. You have to have revenue, you have to have traction. So we weren't able to raise to start this company. So Nina and I put $13,000 of our savings together to start the business.
So 26 or 13?
13.
Okay.
And from there, we were able to start a website, have a little bit of inventory, manufacture samples, have a graphic designer work for us. That's no money. The stat is you need $1 million to start a successful beauty company.
What?
Mm-hmm.
That's the stat.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so I had nothing. I mean, you can run out of $13,000 very fast.
Shit, I wanted to start a skincare brand, but I'm going to not do that now.
We're going to talk. So another lucky break, but a guy that I had interviewed with for fundraising said, I have a friend who works for an accelerator program. You should just pitch to them. They're having a competition. Let's see where that goes. We pitched. We kept making it to the final round. I've never won anything in my life except for the Taylor Swift lottery. So I was like, we're never going to win. This is never going to happen. But we kept getting invited back. We won the competition. They gave us $50,000. So we're like, okay, great. We can launch our next product. We can do a little bit more.
Yeah.
So every time we had fundraised or saved a little bit more money, we put it back into the business to get that next piece of traction.
Yeah.
From there, we got Urban Outfitters to pick up our ingrown hair patch, which was massive for us. We were in stores finally at a retailer. And then for the first time, I had the confidence to go to friends and family and say, we're onto something. This is not a passion project. This is not a hobby. There's traction here. We have metrics to support us. So we raised $175,000 from friends, family, angel investors, and that led us to rebrand Fazit. We stepped away from the skincare patch world. We were able to launch our best-selling makeup patches, and we have never fundraised since.
Wow.
So we are
so rare.
So rare. We are completely profitable. We run our business off of our cash flow. We have not taken a salary. It goes back into the business.
If you don't take a salary though, like how are you dressed so beautifully and paying your rent, and how is Nina eating?
Yeah. Again, I'm completely transparent about I was in a situation where my boyfriend supported my dreams.
Yeah.
I was modeling on the side, which was an industry I wanted to quit as soon as I joined. But it was, a world that allowed me the flexibility to focus on Fazit, but at the same time, I could take a job here and there to pay for necessities in life.
Yep.
He allowed me, to live off of him a little bit and live in his apartment. And then luckily we got married. So, having the privilege of having a support system that helped me, fulfill my dreams. And Nina was in a similar situation too, taking odd jobs. For the first 2 years of Fazit, I had my consulting company still. And then once Fazit got to a point where I felt like there was enough traction, I put that on hold and I lived off of my savings.
Wow. I'm glad you're transparent about it, because people tend to be so mysterious about it that you think there's two paths: private equity or, like you said, VC. And no one's either knows how to do it profitably or doesn't understand the dynamics of you getting your partner to help you, support you while you do this thing. And they're or a bank loan or whatever all the different forms of fundraising can be.
Yeah. And a lot of the women I look up to in the beauty world and did from when we started Fazit had raised so much money. And I'm so happy for them. But now I run into them and there's the same women who are saying, I need to keep fundraising.
Yep.
My business is not profitable.
Correct.
I can't sell my company.
Yep.
And, at the time I was really discouraged. But today I'm so lucky that things happened the way they did for us.
Totally. And where did you get good with numbers and business?
I studied economics at Columbia. I don't know if I say I'm amazing with numbers, but I think I'm...
Well, you're good enough that you're profitable.
I'm gritty and I'll learn anything. Yeah. And I'm hardworking and I'm number one hustler since day one. I always knew I was going to amount to something. And even every day, and my husband reminds me, he's like, you have everything you wanted when you started this.
Yeah.
And he's like, why is that not enough? And
why isn't enough? Asking for a friend.
I think there's, oh God, we've been talking about this every weekend. I think there's something in you as a creator and a founder where it's not a lack of gratitude. It's more of I know we can push the limits. I know we can create more. I know I can touch upon more people. I know I can, for me deep down, I know I can inspire more women.
Yep. I love that. So when your uncle, or the guy that said, what's next?
My uncle.
Your uncle. When he said, what's next? Were you faced with anxiety of what if I run out of ideas? Or you're like, I got ideas for the next 10 years?
We had so many ideas. No, I mean, we're not a one-hit wonder. And all these VC guys were always like, oh, you're just a trendy TikTok company. I was like, one, you want all of the companies in your portfolio to crack that TikTok code, which we already did.
Yeah.
But two, we figured it out. We cracked TikTok. We had no money. I got my product on Taylor Swift. You don't think I have more ideas?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
So no, we launched collarbone patches. We're launching the first ever eyeshadow patches and eyeliner patches later this month. Yeah.
I need all the help I can get with just if the line is perfect, then I don't have to worry about it. No. But if I do it, I look like I was electrocuted.
Me too. Okay. Me too. Or there's black smudge down my face. Yeah. That's why I called Glam Squad this morning. But we have so much innovation down the pipeline. And, segueing from Taylor Swift, that was an amazing catalyst and moment for the brand. But really at the heart of us, we're trying to bridge this intersection between beauty and female fandom and female athletes, because the nature of our product is long-lasting, waterproof, sweat-proof. So we've noticed our customer who's in the stands rooting for their team on game days, sorority rushes, playing in the fields, showing up to the World Cup, they have chosen our product to either run in marathons or just support their team. And that's been a really exciting demographic and community to unlock.
I love it. And that's the best kind of community because they are so passionate.
So passionate.
What is the collarbone?
So it's a similar design to this.
Oh, but it's like a dust of glitter.
It's like décolletage, so along the collarbone. So usually, like if you're rubbing makeup on here, it's gonna spread on your clothes and stain your clothes.
Yeah.
So it stays 24 to 72 hours.
Wow.
It's super sexy.
Really? If you could just solve giving me eyelashes, I'd be set.
I like that.
Yeah. Become fearless and focused in pursuit of your dreams. In my book, Fearless, The New Rules for Unlocking Creativity, Courage, and Success, now available in paperback, I share personal stories and practical advice I've learned along the way in pursuit of my own, in fashion world and in my personal life. I talk about how persistence and courage have been the keys to my success. I share my journey of building a company and the challenges I've faced along the way. By refusing to give up and constantly stepping out of my comfort zone, I was able to break through the unspoken rules that have held women back for far too long. My hope through writing this book is to encourage you to face your own fears and take risks when going for your own goals. Fearlessness is a choice, and we all have the power to make it. The book is now available in paperback, including updated content and a new bonus chapter. How do you see scaling a company? Like, is your goal to sell it one day? Is it to go into big box retailers, as a big focus? Like, where do you see Fazit going?
Nina and I just had this conversation recently where when you're in, I'm sure you felt this in apparel, but there is a route to success is what your industry experts will tell you. Your advisors, your mentors, you have to do this, to do that, and this is how you succeed. And Nina and I have always done everything, I don't know, just on our own whim. We're founders on the fly, basically. We're figuring it out as we go. We're doing things differently. And that's why we've been disruptors in the industry. And I felt like as soon as we started taking this more traditional path, we veered off of who we were from the beginning.
Yep.
And we really see this as beauty for, again, that fan, that athlete, that performer. It's for the girl who's running marathons. It's for the girl who's going to concerts and festivals. It's occasion wear. If you're celebrating your friends on a bachelorette or a birthday party, a pool party, it's just something that brings confidence. It's not serious. It's just super fun. And that's what we're trying to make beauty into. And hitting these different communities that I think have been super underrepresented in the beauty world. So I think that's first and foremost the mission and the pillars that we're standing behind. We launched into Target. We've launched into CVS. We're at Urban Outfitters nationwide. We're launching into another mass retailer come August. We're launching in the UK.
And you're still self-funded?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I hope for as long as possible. And we don't know yet. I think if there is the right partner or a deal, I mean, obviously, I think that's, the way to scale and reach more people. But I think we'll see. I think we just need to keep doing what our purpose is and driving that forward and be disruptors. And we'll see where that takes us.
What has been something that's been harder than you thought on this journey?
Ooh. Nina and I have been doing this alone for a very long time, and it's just been the two of us, and we know how to work with one another. And then you start growing a team, and it's personalities. It's learning, I'm 29, it's learning how to be a boss when I've never had a boss. It's learning leadership, but also channeling, I don't know, your inherent feminine energy and not trying to bring this male dominance, because I run a beauty business with a bunch of women.
Right.
So just learning all of that for the first time is really challenging.
Yeah.
And it's on top of doing your normal day job of just trying to make the company successful and make sure you're alive one more day and making money.
Yeah. Then
on top of it is, okay, am I being a good leader? Am I setting a good example? Is my team happy?
Yeah.
Am I motivating? Do they feel as inspired as I do every day?
Yeah.
I think that's been really challenging.
I think it's the hardest part, to be honest. I think I went from a team of, I think our first team slowly, the first core team was 4 people. And you're we're going to be a family. We're going to all do this together.
Yeah. And
then your first person's I got to go get a paying job that actually I can live on. And you feel betrayed. And then it morphs and it changes. And to this day, it's still the hardest part.
That's good to know. We're working on it. It's I need a leadership coach or something to, and I'm sure it's same as you. I mean, I don't know how many bosses you had that was an example of, oh, this is the type of leader I want to be.
Yeah.
We have 0 examples of that.
Right. Because you guys literally came from just
From college.
Yeah, from college. And I also started basically, I didn't go to school. I worked for someone. So I had a boss for a little bit and I was like, I don't want to be like her.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's wild having to be good at that too, in addition to everything else.
It's hard. It's another skill set. I mean, being a manager is a completely different job. I mean, that's why corporations hire manager roles.
Yes. Because it's its own specialized skill.
Yeah.
Someone who finds joy in that.
Yeah. Not me.
What's something that no one's asked you that you wish someone would have asked you?
How I'm feeling.
How are you feeling?
I'm so overwhelmed. It's been a hard month. I feel like.
What's the biggest part of it that's been overwhelming? Because I went on a rant today with Taylor.
Oh,
she recorded it.
I love
this.
I'm
like, when she puts this up, I'm fucked.
I want to hear about this.
I'll tell you the rant. Maybe this will help you.
Please.
I was like, it's not fair that I have to be a designer. Not have to. I want to be a designer, creator, entertainer, style expert, mom, which I love, podcast, author, face, manager. Like, what the fuck? It's not fair. Oh, and then when you're the influencer and you're the creator, like, what's going to go viral? How is this performing? How is our engagement?
Are you going to get canceled?
I just want to design pretty shit.
Yeah.
So that's my rant.
No, me too. I was like, all right, I just got married. So it's like I'm coming off of like a high of, I planned a wedding for 1.5 years. And like, I'm also this new role of, I don't know, what is a wife? I'm a wife now.
Yep.
I scaled a team. I built a multi-million-dollar business in 6 months. I've hired more people for the first time. I'm coming off of a high of Taylor Swift in sales. And now, there's momentum, but now it's sustaining momentum. You feel like the opportunity is slipping through your fingertips. So you're just trying to, I don't know, you don't want to go to sleep because you're like, I don't want this to go away.
Right.
And you're exhausted. I'm exhausted. And then also you don't want to bring stress to your team. You don't want your team to feel, that you're stressed out or anxious about anything. I'm trying to set this great example, but I'm dying a little bit inside.
Yeah.
So trying to navigate that and how I don't think work-life balance necessarily exists for women.
Yeah.
I think it's really hard to reach that. I think work can be great and then home life can be great. As I don't know, like ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
And you tell me how you do it, if you do it.
Well, there's no balance. But I'm like, men don't have balance and don't have it either. So like, let's break that as an expectation.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist. So then what exists? It's like, I don't know. I feel like I have like a jigsaw puzzle or I'm playing Tetris.
Yeah. Or asking for help more.
Yeah.
Which I do.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I have a village.
Yeah.
And I'm not ashamed of it. It's not that big of a village. It's a babysitter and I obviously have my husband, my parents, and I have a whole team of incredible people.
Yeah.
But it's like,
yeah, you can't do it all.
No, absolutely not. And I'm the first to say, like, no one should expect that they can.
No. So, yeah, how I'm feeling.
Yeah, I get it. I'm glad you shared that because other people be like, everything's great with that crazy eye.
And it's like, you're trying to create content that goes viral and you're trying to share, in my world, this like founder journey. And it's like the highlight reel of my life. It's like, all right, most days I don't look like this.
Right.
I'm in my pajamas at my dining room table, which is my office.
Yeah.
Like it's not glam and days hurt and it's really hard. Even though we keep getting into these retailers and having these crazy metrics, it doesn't mean it's not hard still.
Yeah. I think that the founders that are experiencing the hardness of not making it sometimes think that the pleasure of making it, that hardness that you're talking about will be less painful. And sometimes it's just as painful.
I've been on both sides though. I was the founder who was just like, oh my God, can you imagine if that was my life? It'd be so much easier. And my husband he's an entrepreneur, would always say, more money, more problems. Yeah. He was just like, enjoy the journey.
Exactly. I know. I always feel like an old lady when I say that, but I'm like, enjoy the journey, little darling.
I said that in my vows. I was like, I vow to enjoy the journey.
Well, I'm glad you say that for marriage because there was like an end that you're like, at the end of our marriage, I'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. No. I think it's what all founders need to hear because it doesn't matter if you're in what year are you in?
3. About 3 of this, but like 10 of everything.
Okay, fine. Whether you're in year 3, 1, 10, 20, it's the same fucking pain. So it is the journey, and it is about enjoying these moments.
Yeah.
Or like seeing your product on the street or on, on someone, that's what it's for.
And that's why there needs to be like more transparency of these conversations. You read, even, I don't know, interviews I've done, you just read again, all the highlights and, they glamorize all of it. And I remember the early days, I wanted to see, okay, what are these tiny steps or the tips and tricks that I can take from someone else to apply that to my business to help me grow just a little bit more those early days.
Yeah.
So I think just having these, open and honest conversations help people who are just starting.
Oh, 100%. Because you're looking for something that could be that little bit of transformation.
Mm-hmm.
And if everything is perfect and you're PR trained, like some of my guests.
I need to PR trained.
No, it's refreshing. Honestly.
Thank you.
Like when you get someone who has all the right answers and is like, everything's great always. And just like, this is fucking boring. I know that's not true.
Yeah, no.
So,
as my friends and family call it, my hand grenades. It's just like if I'm at a dinner party and it gets a little bit boring, it's just like, so let's throw this into the conversation.
I'm so happy to meet a like-minded,
I love
shit comes out of my mouth and I'm like, I probably shouldn't have said that.
I wake up the next morning and be like, oh, I can't believe I said that. I wasn't even drinking.
Oh my God. Same. So where can everyone buy Fazit? I know you mentioned some retailers, but if you want to plug, I don't know, your site.
Yes. Fazit Beauty, if you want to support us directly. Okay. Amazon, if you're a person of convenience. If you need even more convenience and you like to shop in stores, we're available with our bestsellers at Target. CVS, we have our Gold. And Urban Outfitters carries the majority of our line.
Well, thank you. If people want to follow you outside of Fazit Beauty, do you want to be followed?
Yeah, I love sharing. I mean, you'll see maybe my, chaotic rants on TikTok at Aliett Butts, same on Instagram. And then you can follow Fazit Beauty on all social channels.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here today and sharing.
Thank you so much.
I just wanted to thank you guys for listening to today's episode. I also want to ask you to rate and review the show wherever you listen to podcasts. I know it's a pain in the butt, but it actually helps with search and algorithms. So if you love this podcast, it is an easy way to get it more visible and out there. I also want you to follow me on Instagram at Rebecca Minkoff, at RM Superwomen, and be sure to check out my book, Fearless, The New Rules for Unlocking Creativity, Courage, and Success. Thank you again, and you will hear from me next week.